My name is Wayne, not any wealthy second-generation Wayne from Gotham City. I'm a basketball stinker. For some reason, I was reborn again. With the idea of settling for what I have, I just wanted to live my life peacefully until the words Emperor Guang appeared in my eyes and everything became different. But it's okay, because the data won't deceive people. Now, I'm going to Diguang to meet those basketball prodigies. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Which Emperor Light do you know? You are listening at novelfull.audio. In 1998, Chongyan Children's Channel broadcasted the NBA Finals between the Bulls and Jazz. That was the era of Jordan and the Bulls, and almost the entire community believed that the Bulls would defend their championship. But Wayne didn't take the ordinary path. As a young man, he knew the truth that a hot dog would die. So he took out his treasured Game King card and bet with his friend Soha that the Jazz of Cameron in Stockton would win the championship. Then, Jordan completed the classic final shot, Wayne lost the president's tamashii, and 3 shots were likely not genuine blue eyes and white dragons. How old was Wayne at that time? He didn't remember, he only knew that when the Game King had just aired, which fashionable Pharaoh King with full value was very popular. In 1999, Wayne hit hard again, putting his entire fortune on the New York Knicks. As a result, the damn gorilla lost to the second-grade rock Buddha, and the Knicks were swept by the Spurs gentleman 1.4. This time, he lost a charging ship, and the Pit fathers Wang Taizhu didn't even leave a wheel for himself. In 2000, Wayne cultivated himself and vowed to quit gambling from then on. In 2001, the core player of the Bai team, national player Da Ji, wore the Dallas Mavericks number 16 jersey and became the first Asian player to land in the NBA. During this period, Jian started broadcasting NBA regular season games on a weekly basis, especially the games of the Mavericks. It is worth mentioning that Da Ji was selected by the Mavericks in 1999. At the age of 22, he was eager to join the NBA as a young fan. Unfortunately, the Basketball Association and the Bai team refused to release him, and it wasn't until April 2001 that he finally made it to the Mavericks to report. However, at this point, he no longer had much potential to tap into and did not receive the team's attention and training. Moreover, when he logged into the NBA, he was already in the playoffs and had no time to adapt to the team, resulting in limited playing time and poor performance. Thus, Da Ji ended his first NBA career. In order to establish himself in the NBA, he hopes to stay in ugly country to hone himself. But the Basketball Association did not allow him to do so, and he returned to Asia to participate in the Asian Championships and the World University Games. In the 2002 Busan Asian Games, the national team once again called up Da Ji to play. This time, Da Ji did not want to return to participate in the Asian Games and wanted to seek a contract in the Summer League to continue playing in the NBA. Then, he received widespread criticism, with some media exaggerating that he had defected to the national team, putting Da Ji in opposition to the people of the country. In a fit of anger, the Basketball Association expelled him from the national team. In the same year, Chairman Yao emerged as the top scorer and joined the Houston Rockets, bringing the NBA's domestic craze to its peak. Most young people who love basketball have become fans of the Rockets and Chairman Yao. Wayne is no exception. As long as time and conditions permit, Wayne never misses NBA games, especially Rockets games. At that time, the male classmates in the class talked about basketball, NBA, and Chairman Yao, which was a trend. Everyone always had endless topics to talk about. Including Wayne, they formed the first generation of Dongqiu Emperor together. Basketball magazines such as Sports Weekly, Basketball Pioneer, and Dunk Dunk were the best reading materials for boys outside of their boring studies at that time. At that time, having breakfast only cost 2 yuan, and Wayne had 5 yuan in pocket money per day. Then he would take out the change with 2 or 3 friends who grew up wearing the same pair of shorts. Part of it goes to buy magazines, and the other part goes to buy snacks. In his spare time, he reads and nibbles on it, which is the most beautiful time of his student days. At that time, the little giant wearing the number 11 jersey carried the youth and unrealistic fantasies of countless people, before many teachers such as the Paperman Wife, girl group, and Teacher Song had occupied the minds of the young people. The man who is 2.26 meters tall has touched the heartstrings of most teenagers. Unfortunately, the little giants were not able to fulfill the unrealistic fantasies of fans. When Wayne was in junior high school, the Rockets failed to pass the first round of the playoffs. When Wayne was in high school, the Rockets still couldn't make it to the first round of the playoffs. In 2008, the Rockets achieved a groundbreaking 22-game winning streak, but the Giants were reimbursed due to injuries. However, at the Olympics at his doorstep, he led the men's basketball team to their best performance in history, which inspired the whole country. In 2009, the Rockets finally made it through the first round and advanced to the semi-finals against the Lakers. After winning 1 game first, Chairman Yao was once again reimbursed due to injury. The great situation was destroyed in an instant, leaving indescribable regrets for domestic fans. In 2010, Chairman Yao was once again reimbursed for the season, and like him, the big brother who received high expectations from fans, Lien was unable to carry the banner. In 2011, Chairman Yao made a comeback, but after playing 5 games, he never appeared again. His body no longer supported him to continue playing on the basketball court. In June, the Mavericks defeated the Heat's 3 Giants to win the championship, but the 16th player, Da-ji, had already left Dallas. On July 20, Chairman Yao announced his retirement, leaving his field forever and returning to life. Afterwards, Wayne continued to keep an eye on the NBA, witnessing little Emperor LeBron ascend to the top, seeing the San Antonio Spurs DGP grow old and strong, and also seeing the Warriors' Water Flower brothers set off a wave. At the same time, I also saw the news of the passing of Kobe Bryant, the flying man. That was what happened in 2020, and that same year, the Lakers won the Park Championship under the leadership of James and Brow. Countless Kobe and Lakers fans are scrolling "This is for you" on forums. Then, in 2024, Wayne returned to 2008. Tokyo, Japan. In a junior high school basketball department, Wayne, who had just completed his training, was staring blankly at a sports magazine. The popular team that is most likely to advance to the Tokyo Regional Selection Tournament this year was reported above. Of course, this is not the point. The key is the name mentioned in the report, which makes him a bit unbelievable. Diguang Middle School. System, come out with a squeak. Squeak. As soon as the words fell, a hamster humanized and jumped onto his shoulder, slowly nibbling on the melon seeds, just like Drax. Wayne was used to the abnormality of this hamster and asked, "Is this Emperor Light the Emperor Light that I don't know, or which Emperor Light do I know? It should be the Emperor Guang, you know." What does "should" mean? It's the Emperor Guang, you know. Grass. Upon hearing this, Wayne immediately became restless. Chapter 2, Data Tennis. Data Basketball. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wayne. Gender. Male. Age. 12 years old. Identity is a reincarnator who, like most of his predecessors who have traveled through reincarnation, died on the street, but he was not killed by a mud truck. Wayne didn't want to say much about how he died, but he realized that after his death, he was reincarnated and came to Japan. Becoming a mixed-race Chinese and Japanese, to put it simply, a bastard. His father is a flower grower. 20 years ago, he traveled across the sea to Japan and met a beautiful woman. The two quickly fell in love, and then they had Wayne. In addition, Wayne also has a very superstar family background. He is from a single-parent family. Yes, Wayne's cheap old beans hit the streets when he was still a primary school student. What is the specific reason? That's because Wayne has always had a dream of becoming a wealthy second generation, but when he was reborn through time travel, he was still a little kid and couldn't fully utilize his strengths in many places. So he encouraged his cheap father to gamble on the ball. After accurately predicting the NBA Finals championship for 3 consecutive years, including a World Cup championship, Diguang, who had always been indifferent to his son's encouragement, couldn't help but feel restless in his heart. He took out the money he had originally planned to open a store and bet heavily on Italy to win the World Cup. Don't ask why Wayne only allows his dad to buy championship teams, it's because he can't remember the group stage or even the knockout stage. I only remember that the champion of the 2006 World Cup was Italy, and the score is not very clear. Who knows, at the beginning of the finals, Wayne and Diguang realized something was wrong, and the Italian was hit twice before finishing half-time. At that time, Wayne still remembered comforting his father and saying, "It's just 2 goals, it's easy to catch up, don't worry." Then the Italian was given the 3rd goal, and with a weak heart, Weber excitedly covered his chest. Wayne quickly comforted, "It's okay, there's still time. It's just 3 goals, you can catch it with 3 kicks." After another 10 minutes, the Italian did indeed take a shot and score. Wayne was excited and said, "Let me tell you, the Italians will definitely win. Keep it steady and we can win." "Oh my grass, why did you blow offside?" Upon hearing these words, Diguang's hand covering his chest became even more forceful. Afterwards, Italy did not score another goal and suffered a 0.3 elimination, losing the World Cup cleanly. Afterwards, Diguang fainted on the spot because he couldn't bear the stimulation, and ultimately passed away despite ineffective rescue efforts. This incident taught Wayne a lesson. Gambling on dogs is not easy to die. From then on, Wayne never encouraged anyone to gamble, including himself. The wheels of history are rolling, and in many ways, they are no different from their original world. There is no Superman flying around in a red cloak here, it is an ordinary normal human world. But in some small details, it has become completely unrecognizable. In short, Wayne had to give up his fantasy of overnight wealth and peacefully follow some broken system arrangement to play basketball. In fact, he has indeed achieved a career. He started playing basketball in the 4th grade of elementary school and continued until the 6th grade. His school was the champion of the 23 districts in Tokyo. Due to the absence of large-scale national competitions in primary schools, the district champion is the highest honor. And as a player who can average over 20 goals per game in elementary school, he is naturally praised by countless junior high school coaches as a genius, asking him to join his basketball department. At that time, Wayne's heart was quite inflated, thinking that joining that team was no different. As an adult, I played with a group of kids, and I still needed to hang out like LeBang. So he didn't think much at that time and chose a school that he liked and joined. It wasn't until more than a month before the start of this year's national competition qualifiers, when Wayne saw the Youth Sports Daily warming up for the national competition, that he realized he seemed a bit careless. Which Emperor Guang do I know? Isn't that basketball prodigy? Upon hearing the hamster's words, Wayne immediately thought of the 5 basketball bumpkins with colorful hair, resembling a rainbow in his memory, which are the miracle generation. This news is very bad, and it can even be said to be very unfavorable. Wayne's broken system is a system that can obtain entries through a lottery. To win the lottery, one must win enough victories. A simple introduction is that for every victory in a game, you can get 1 chance to draw a white entry, accumulate 10 times, and then upgrade to draw a higher level of blue entries, followed by 50 gold entries accumulated. The white entries Wayne drew were all useless things, and he quickly gave up a dream of entering the soul and became the chief with peace of mind. The blue words are very awesome, but Wayne is very unlucky. So far, his entries include Genius Scholar, Ekizan Ryoma. You have extremely strong learning ability and never forget. Even if sleeping in class has become a common occurrence, you can still get an A in the subject. Entry attributes. Charm +10, learning ability +20. Born nobleman. Ashikaga Watanabe. You are a born aristocrat, with elegance and magnificence in your hands and feet. No matter when or where you are, you will always be the focus of people. Entry attributes. Charm +20, etiquette learning ability +20. Unyielding emperor. Shinichiro Makita. You are tenacious, never give up, and can stand up again no matter how many times you fall. The stronger the opponent, the more valuable it is to defeat. Entry attributes. Charm +10, will +10. Son of God. Shinsuin Jingshi. Your smile is as warm as sunshine, and your heart can accommodate all things. Perhaps it's the cause, there will always be many girls around you to take care of you. Entry attribute. Charm +20. The name is quite impressive, but at first glance, its attributes weary Nima. Most of the entries Wayne has drawn so far are of this kind. I haven't started dominating the basketball court yet, but I've become a basketball legend. He couldn't figure it out. He just wanted to play a ball. Why did the system insist on adding charm to him and making him look as handsome as the Yenzu in front of the screen? So, after knowing what these entries meant, he held his breath for 50 times and made a golden entry extraction. And then he got this. Data tennis. Liulian 2. By collecting opponent data and accurately crafting targeted strategies, comprehensively predicting possible actions that the opponent may take, taking the initiative and winning. The entry is true. Data tennis, and stubborn charm +10. You look very nice squinting your eyes. Chapter 3, I want to bring my talent to Emperor Guang. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. So far, the only thing Wayne can handle is Lul Yenner's data tennis. Well, now it's data basketball. This entry is very strong, and as for how strong it is, it's a long story. You can only make it short and go see the Internet King yourself. One of the advantages of data basketball is to take the initiative and defeat the enemy. It can be regarded as the ultimate version of Tao Jing Mei, further digitizing basketball. The peak Liulian heir can even predict the direction of the entire game from the beginning through data. Of course, the limit of the term, data tennis, is definitely not limited to this. After all, Lul Yenner plays tennis, which is quite different from basketball. In the world of basketball, the derivative nature of data basketball can be very high, and specific details need to be slowly explored by Wayne, who has just obtained it. Overall, Wayne was very satisfied with the lucky draw for this golden entry. He was originally ambitious and ready to lead the team to dominate the country for 3 years. But the appearance of Emperor Guang forced him to consider more. Because the champion of the national competition can win a gold entry lottery. In this world where there are no basic laws to play basketball, just a data basketball is not enough to dominate the world. Wayne never forgot that in the theatrical version, the Dragons almost defeated the Miracle Generation, including the Black Fire duo, with the power of 2 people. To climb to the top of the world and earn a lot of fun, a data basketball is far from enough. Even if the subsequent development of data basketball meets his expectations, it is not enough. It may even be impossible to leave Japan. You must transfer. Wayne admitted that he spoke a bit loudly just now, and he wants to play brotherly basketball with Miracle Generation. There's no way, in this world, the Miracle Generation represents the ceiling, at least Japan's ceiling. Their talent is terrifying, perhaps only the superhumans like Wu Jizun and Dongfang Xiang can stabilize their situation. Wayne currently cannot think of what kind of team to form to compete with Emperor Guang. Will you bring those few people to your own team without a championship? The problem is that besides the Miracle Generation, Emperor Guang also has a Rainbow Village cultivator who only lives in his memories. His strength is at the level of a half-step miracle, which is mystical. At the beginning of the original work, Hongsuan was assigned to position 4 for construction, so I will directly arrange it to position 3. I will not explain it later. It's still difficult to defeat Emperor Guang. Moreover, once this year is missed, there will be no chance for the miracle generations to bloom the following year. A basketball prodigy is already very scary, not to mention that Emperor Guang has 5, plus a ace assistant Kuriko Tetsuya, and the second year only joined the team Ashikaga Shogo. There's no chance of winning at all. It is imperative to transfer schools. At that moment, the head of the basketball department also came over to urge him, don't be fooled by Wayne, let's start practicing. This is a third-grade student with good strength. It is said that he is one of the 4 center forwards in the Tokyo division, nicknamed General, and appears to be a knockoff David Robinson. This year, the General has been full of fighting spirit. On the one hand, this is his last year in junior high school, and he doesn't want to leave any regrets. He wants to make a final move and compete in the national competition. On the other hand, the school has received talented players like Wayne this year. He was able to score an average of 20+ points per game in elementary school, which is amazing. Back in 6th grade, he could only score an average of about 10 points per game. After all, age is placed there, which limits the natural talent of the body. Wayne's average score per game is more than twice that of himself, making him a true genius. He believes that with Wayne joining the team this year, he will definitely be able to make it to the national competition. At that time, he won't have to reminisce about his lost youth in the sunset. He had a great idea, but he didn't expect Wayne to be ready to switch jobs. Practice ball. Let's practice ball again. Wayne threw away his magazine and turned to walk towards the entrance of the basketball department. The general didn't know why he went crazy and quickly asked, "What are you doing without practicing?" "I want to bring my talents to Emperor Guang High School." "What?" "Do whatever you say." Wayne is not dragging the boat at all. 3 days later, his figure appeared at the entrance of Emperor Guang Middle School. As a private school, the environment inside Diguang School can be said to be quite good. The start of the school season in Japan is in early April, which is one of the most comfortable temperatures of the long 365 days of the year. At the entrance of the school, female students can be seen everywhere, wearing short skirts and walking together, occasionally pointing and secretly looking at Wayne, and then realizing that Wayne's gaze was coming, she would blush and quickly lower her head. The charm of basketball is just so powerful. He has the mischievous aura of Ekizan Ryoma, the aristocratic aura of Ashikaga Nobunaga, the maturity and stability of Sanada, and the melancholy of Shinsuin. In summary, no matter which dish a woman eats, you can see it on Wayne. This is Emperor Guang. Wayne walked in with a backpack on his shoulder. First go report, then be led by the teacher to your own classroom. You wait here for a moment. Wayne, the female teacher, walked to the classroom door, turned around and said softly, but her face turned red when she spoke for some reason. "Is this damn female teacher from the Magic City before?" Afterwards, Wayne heard the teacher say through the door that a new classmate was coming to class today. Amidst the excited voices of the students, he heard the teacher's call. "Wayne, you can come in now." Wayne immediately opened the door and walked in, coming to the podium to introduce himself. "My name is Wayne, Wayne's Wayne. It's gone." His self-introduction was not simple, but it still caused the classroom to exclaim. "Wow, you're so handsome, and your figure is also good. Are you an athlete? You're all covered in bumps. So tall, it should be over 1.7 meters, isn't it? It's so tall, is it for basketball? Is it the young master of the nobility? It feels as cool as Daoming Temple. No, I think he's a flower-like creature. His eyes are so funny. Daimao is so cute, is it innate? Dumb hair." Wayne looked up at the corner of his eye. He didn't see it. Speaking of which, it's also magical. He didn't originally have Daimao, but I don't know if it was because he was killed by the hands of the Daimao king before his time traveling, and after his rebirth, he had Daimao. But it won't be difficult for him. Wayne lifted his head and placed it on his forehead, then vigorously stroked it upwards. In an instant his hairstyle went from silly to wild. There it is, it's the hair glue hand. How awesome. It's the same hairstyle as Virgil's, and its movements are just as stylish. What Virgil? He's not even white-haired, it's clearly blue dye. Hair glue hands, black hair, blue dye. That's it, he can do 2 jumps. Dog Capcom, you haven't given me Brother V's second-level jump script yet. Many boys below were shocked by Wayne's miraculous skill and had a lot of discussions. Of course, this is also Wayne's entry, which is called Hair Gel Hand. To be honest, this tune does belong to Brother V, so he doesn't know how to double jump. P.S. It was agreed to be sent out within a week, but it ended up being delayed for 2 weeks. This is how the lazy cancer outbreak occurred. And then new book launch ball everyone supports, compared to the previous basic, the pace will be slower. Looking for a collection, flowers, review tickets, monthly tickets, your support is the biggest motivation for me to update. Chapter 4. The First Grade Bumpkins. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The teacher quickly pressed his hand and made the students quiet down. Turning to Wayne, he said, "Wayne, please sit in the back seat by the window first." Wayne nodded and walked to the bedside with his backpack on his back, approaching a little giant. He is really a little giant. He is 1.9 meters tall in his first year of junior high school and can definitely grow to over 2 meters in high school. Don't ask Wayne why he's so certain, he already recognizes his desk mate as one of Emperor Guang's basketball prodigies, Zun Dun. He is the only person who didn't pay attention to Wayne as a transfer student. You should know that when Wayne showed off his amazing hair gel hand, both girls and boys in the class were instantly shocked, with a magnitude similar to last year's earthquake in Japan. This guy is Zun Dun, the most talented one in the miracle generation. Zun Dun's talent is visible to the naked eye. Being able to stand on par with one's teammates with almost no skill polishing. Finally, when mastering the technique of using one's own talents, he once suppressed Jason Sibber of the Dragons. Both static and dynamic talents have reached a very high level. It is a typical example of heaven chasing after feeding. Sensing Wayne looking at him, Zun Dun returned from his wandering state and pouted, "Why are you looking at me like this? I just feel like we have a lot of common topics." Wayne's current goal is to become the next basketball prodigy. Common topic. Zun Dun was stunned for a moment, then showed a naive smile and said, "Do you also like to eat snacks?" "No, I don't like snacks." Wayne shook his head. "I like ramen noodles." Wayne didn't have a good impression of this guy during his first contact with Zun Dun. He believes that the other party is a typical example of wasting talent. Being able to suppress the monster Jason Shibwa at the age of a sophomore in high school, with his talent, should not be defeated by Qinglin. Zun Dun has a good impression of his new desk mate. After all, everyone loves to eat. I can probably become good friends. Soon, school is over. After rejecting many invitations from girls in the same class, Wayne left the classroom with Zun Dun carrying his backpack and sighing loudly. "Wei Zai, why are you following me? I need to go to the basketball department." "Wei Zai, okay, it's better than Wei Gu. I also want to go to the basketball department, but I don't know the way. I happen to be with you." Wei Zai also wants to join the basketball department. For some reason, Zun Dun felt a bit bored, especially when he saw Wayne's murderous face. Why be so serious? It doesn't look very strong. He didn't say anything, honestly leading the way, and soon arrived at the basketball department of Emperor Guang. As introduced in the background, the size of Emperor Guang's basketball department is unimaginable. Even though the number of department members who have not yet reached their peak in the future has exceeded 3 digits, upon a brief glance, Wayne knows in his heart that there are already over 50 members of the Emperor's Light Department. Compared to the number of people in the animation who can only gather a large list, a basketball department like Emperor Guang is truly powerful. Wei Zai, I'm going to participate in the basketball department's activities. Where is the coach? Do you want me to take you? No need, I'll just take a walk on my own. You go get busy with your work. Wayne didn't plan to join the basketball department on the first day. He arrived alone at a location with a wide view, opened a notebook, and waited quietly. Not long after, Wayne saw Alfeng Daihui, Aoma Shintaro, and Akashi Masashiro walking into the stadium. There are many members in the basketball department of Emperor Guang, and in order to ensure the quality of training, the members of the First Army are trained separately from the Third and Second Armies. What Wayne is seeing now are all members of the first team, with a total of 12 players corresponding to jersey numbers 4 to 15. At the same time, this is also the list of Emperor Guang competing in the national competition this year. As the national competition approaches, Diguang's training has become more challenging, and compared to Wayne's previous team, the intensity has directly increased by one level. The speed is indeed very fast. Wayne watched the match between Emperor Guang and his army, silently recording and analyzing the data. By observing and combining with his own brain's memory, he can draw a conclusion. Qingfeng Dahue, Ziyuan Dun, Qiji, and Green Space players all have the potential to reach the S+ level. Of course, this is potential, not immediate combat power. Wayne can only give an A level to the immediate combat power of the first-grade miracle generation. However, next year, as he grows older, these people's talents will erupt like a volcano, and their strength will experience explosive growth. Wayne secretly compared himself to Qingfeng Dahue. In terms of speed, based on his awakening data, it can be inferred that with a perfect score of 100, Qingfeng Dahue's current speed is around 85, while I can only reach the level of 75. There are differences in explosive power, the first step start-up speed, and the sensitivity when changing direction. If his current instant combat power is A, then at most I only have level B, which is one level lower. Of course, in the case of insufficient data collection and complete data, I was able to reach the B+ level, only half a gear behind Qingfeng Dahue, or even eliminate him. But he lacks the explosive talent of Qingfeng Dahue, and his potential is not as great as Qingfeng Dahue. If he continues to develop like this, in the second year, he will be far abandoned by Qingfeng Dahue and the miracle generation. Need more powerful entries. Classmate, are you here to join the basketball department? Suddenly, a clear fragrance rushed into Wayne's nose. He turned his head and saw a young girl tilting her head to look at him, indescribably cute. This level of ominous omen, with cherry blossom-like hair color, Taojing Mei. Wayne recognized the person at a glance. Taojing Mayu is still very recognizable. Compared to the girls in the class, Taojing Mayu's ominous omen is definitely at the level of a tank, and stepping on the accelerator can crush those small cars. Yes, but not today. Not today, what does this mean? Xiaozi said you came with him. Oh, what is this? Can I take a look? Taojing Mai noticed Wayne's note in his hand. Wayne handed it over without any need to conceal it. Taojing Mei opened and whispered, Qingfeng Dahue, 12 years old, 174 cm tall, weighing 60 kilograms. Dominant hands. Left and right hands. Skilled in breakthroughs, characterized by fast starting speed in the first step, versatile breakthrough techniques, and a liking for completing tasks in unexpected ways. The ability to shoot from mid to long range is unknown, but it appears to have a certain level of long-range shooting ability. The style is close to street basketball, and I prefer to hit the basket more than shooting. Outstanding ability to attack the basket, soft touch, outstanding balance, able to put the ball into the basket from multiple angles. A pile of scattered data obtained by Wayne after simple observation. Taojing Mayu opened her mouth cute and said, have you been observing for a long time? How amazing. Wayne shook his head and said, at best, this kind of data can only be considered as a scout report. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. See you next time. Ah. Are you leaving now? Well, I'm going to see where the second and third armies are. The data of the miracle generation, like the first army, has plenty of time to collect. What he needs to do now is observe the second and third armies, collect their data, and then throw them all into the trash can. Tao Jing Mayu was stunned for a moment, then followed suit. Because she saw that besides Qingfeng Dahui, Wayne also had several other notebooks, which were written with names such as Green Room Zentaro, Akashi Masashiro, and Ziyuan Dun. Chapter 5. Motivation for entering the department. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The place where Emperor Guang's second and third armies operate is right next to the first army. As it is a sports hall, the architectural style is completely consistent and there is not much difference. If you insist, that is the place where the third and second armies practice football, which is less valued than the first army. The training of the first army is to use a separate stadium, and the head coach of the team, Platinum Gengzhao, will personally guide the players of the first army. However, the activities of the third and second armies can only be trained simultaneously on 4 courts without a separate space, and the guidance teacher is also a platinum cultivated assistant, with a visible difference of 1 level in training intensity. Wayne walked into the arena without any obstruction. The training of the basketball department is not closed, even when it comes to preparing for important national competitions, it is still a member of the first army, the second army, and the third army. To put it bluntly, it's not even a substitute, at best it's a reserve. When the third-grade students in the first army enter higher education, the talents here have the opportunity to compete in the list of Emperor Guang's first army. Of course, if you are a genius player like Ziyuan Dun, you can skip this stage and directly join the army of Emperor Guang. In the plot of the original work, Ryota Huangsa fought from the third army all the way to the first army, and it took quite a short time. Wayne speculates that it will not exceed a month. He was hit by a basketball while passing by the Emperor Guang basketball department, and by chance, he realized the terrifying nature of Qingfeng Dahui, which led to his idea of playing basketball. That was the second year of the Miracle Generation's reign in Emperor Guang, and it was also the same year that Ryota Huangsa made her debut on the stage of a national competition. A basketball powerhouse like Emperor Guang will not easily change the roster during the game. In other words, Ryota Huang became a member of the first team before the start of the second year's national competition. The national competition in Japan starts in May each year, and after the regional selection competition, each team has about a month of adjustment time. It is now April, which means that it will not exceed 1 month for Ryota Huang to join the third army of Emperor Guang and enter the first army. Do you even need to record the player data of the 3 armies? Tao Jing Mei came here with Wayne. It is worth mentioning that she is also a skilled data player and the most outstanding intelligence expert in this work. In the battle between Tonghuang College and Qinglin University, her intelligence once pushed many Qinglin players into a desperate situation. Collecting opponents' data and speculating on the actions they will choose to strengthen their own offensive and defensive strength is the ability of Tao Jing Mei. Therefore, when she saw that Wayne did not rush into the field like other boys, but instead quietly observed and recorded data, she was immediately attracted to Wayne's attention. Of course, although I don't think I will stay in the third army for too long, the necessary preparations still need to be made. I will record all the player data of not only the third army, but also the second army, which will become the food for me to enter the first army. Because of the data, I won't deceive anyone. First Army Tao Jing Mei blinked her beautiful big eyes. It's not that she looks down on Wayne, but rather that the competition for the army's big list is too fierce. In the relatively long history of Emperor Guang, there have been no more than 10 cases where he was able to enter the army as a first-year student. This year is already unprecedented, with a sudden appearance of 4 columns. But seeing Wayne carefully recording the data, she couldn't help but undermine Wayne's confidence. Then you have to work hard. The basketball team of Emperor Guang has more than 50 members, and there are 42 members from the second and third armies combined. This is changing direction to tell Wayne the difficulty of breaking into an army. Because in addition to defeating 42 players from the second and third teams, he also needs to demonstrate enough strength to squeeze out at least one player from the first team in order to have a chance to be selected for the starting lineup. Why be so kind to a stranger? Taojing Mayu said she didn't even know, but at the moment she saw Wayne, she inexplicably felt that he was very friendly. I won't make you wait too long. Wayne closed his notes, flipped over his phone to check the time on it, and turned around to leave the basketball department. Are you leaving now? Well, all the records are similar. I will officially join the Diguang basketball department tomorrow. Are you the manager of the basketball department? Can you give me a copy of the application form for joining the department? I have already brought it. Takai was ready early and handed Wayne an application for admission. I knew you were going to join the basketball department. You see how others play, just like Ada. Wayne said, I'm not as powerful as your childhood sweetheart right now. After receiving the application form, taking out a pen, and filling out his personal information, he handed it over to Taojing Mayo and left a sentence saying, I'll leave the application form on your behalf. He left without looking back. After waving goodbye, Taojing Mayu looked down at the application form. Name: Wayne. Gender: male. Age: 12 years and 30 days. Height: 174 cm, weight: 65 kilograms, arm span: 187 cm, proficient in position: swinging forward. It's all some basic player information. The only thing that makes Taojing Mei feel a bit sluggish is Wayne's motivation to join the team. Becoming the next basketball prodigy. Wayne is such an interesting person, Taojing Mei could only say. What else can we do? Wayne is so handsome, should I call him crazy? Shaking his head, Taojing Mayu also left the training ground of the 3rd and 2nd Armies, preparing to hand over the application form to the coach. Because it is a school club activity, the school only encourages students to actively participate, so as long as you apply, you can basically pass it, just follow a simple process. On the way back in May, Taojing suddenly thought of something. Where did you hear the name Wayne? She quickly flipped through her notebook. In no time, she saw information about a player she had collected before. Wayne, a core player of the Shibuya Private Elementary School basketball team, started playing basketball in the 4th grade and joined the basketball department. He plays as a small forward and is skilled in making breakthroughs like a surgical knife. He is able to find opponents' weaknesses and destroy their defense. He has strong dunks, stable mid-range shots, accurate long-range shots, and fierce defense. He is the most versatile small forward in the Shibuya region and has led Shibuya Private Elementary School to win regional championships for 3 consecutive years, averaging 23.6 points, 13.4 rebounds, 4.3 assists, 4 blocks, and 6 steals per game. It's really him. Taojing Mei opened her eyes wide. She suddenly has some anticipation that Wayne will join the team tomorrow. Not good. This year Emperor Guang is likely to break history, with 5 talented players who entered the first team in 1st grade. Chapter 6. Meimo debuts. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Platinum Farmer is very busy, especially after introducing 4 basketball geniuses this year. His working hours have significantly increased compared to previous years. Along with the assistant coach of Emperor Guang's basketball department, they often stay in the office to play OTs. At 7 o'clock in the evening, it was already dark outside, but these 2 men still stayed in the office, studying tactics, player usage, and training plans together. The job of a coach is never just about assigning tactics, providing temporary command, and deploying troops. Being able to use people and understanding how to train players are also aspects of demonstrating a coach's abilities. On this aspect, Platinum Farming does not need to be questioned. From the fact that he dares to promote 4 first-year students to the team's list at once, it proves that he is a head coach with sharp eyes and knows how to use people. After completing the training tasks for the main players in the first grade in the future, Platinum Gengzhao found that he did not pay much attention to the second and third armies during this period. So he couldn't help but ask about the situation between the third army and the second army. How are the second army and the third army doing? Have there been any good signs? Not yet. The player's strength has not yet reached the level of promotion to the first team, but it's the girl from Taojing who recommended a player to me today. Oh. Will Taojing also actively recommend other players? I thought she only knew how to stay behind the guys like Qingfeng all day. Of course, the girl from Taojing Mei who cultivates with platinum will not be unaware. To some extent, she is also a rare genius, otherwise she wouldn't have been promoted to the manager of the basketball department by him. So, Platinum Gengzhao is very interested in the player recommended by Taojing Mei. What kind of player is he? He can be called a genius, but he plays as a small forward, which overlaps with the team captain Hong Suan. As expected, he will officially join the basketball department tomorrow, and I will observe him carefully. Well, then I'll leave it to you. When hearing about Wayne's position as a small forward, Platinum's interest in farming decreased slightly. At present, the location where Emperor Guang and Hong Suan are building is the most stable, more stable than Chizi and the others. He is the captain of the team and also the best small forward in the country. With the help of Hong Suan, their position as a small forward will not be lacking. The teaching assistant of Emperor Guang also means the same. They all don't believe that Japan can still have more outstanding small forwards than Hong Suan. The national competition is based on international basketball rules, with only 40 minutes per game. With the physical fitness and tactics of Emperor Guang developed by Hong Suan must play for at least 30 minutes per game. Simply put, as a substitute for the first team, there is no position for Wayne. Of course, without a location, it doesn't mean they won't pay attention. This year is the second year of construction in Hong Suan, and next year is the third grade. If the player recommended by Taojing Mei is really talented, it's not too late to be promoted then. This is the confidence of Emperor Guang, as a national basketball powerhouse. They have never lacked geniuses, only strange talents such as Akashi Masahiro, Sahara Dun, Green Realm Shintaro, and Qingfeng Daihui. The next day, Wayne arrived at the Diguang basketball department on time to report after school in the afternoon. Everyone expressed curiosity about Wayne, who suddenly appeared as a player. After all, if you want to join the basketball department, it has already been decided in the first week of school. However, upon learning that Wayne was a transfer student, everyone understood and became extremely wary of him. It's not that I'm afraid of being snatched up, after all, the third and second armies are also considered difficult brothers and sisters, and it's difficult to compete. It's amazing to represent Emperor Guang in some exchange matches. It was only when the first army found their opponents weak and uninteresting to communicate that they had the opportunity to represent Emperor Guang on the expedition. These hormone-rich guys are truly wary of Wayne's femininity. Come on, Wayne. Look here, Wayne, look here. You need to cheer, Wayne. Senior sister will keep cheering you on. It is obvious that today's Emperor Guang basketball department is particularly lively. Inexplicably, many female fans who claim to be fans of Emperor Guang for 10 years have flooded in, waving flags and shouting for Wayne. This guy is not a transfer student, why is he so popular? There are many girls, including second and third grade senior students. This popularity is similar to which first grade model, right? In the female group of Emperor Guang, there is a school grass ranking list, which is similar to the principle that boys like to rate school flowers. Whoever looks handsome will be on the list, without any other hard conditions. In the past, this list was dominated by a third grade senior, but this year, Ryota Huang made a bold move and in just 1 week, kicked Lao Chao to second place. It is said that this Huang Se Liang Tai is still a model, which makes her very handsome and visually appealing. It can be imagined that Wayne, who was able to compete with the cooler Huang Se, had a high level of charm. Wayne turned a blind eye, not as a eunuch, but as someone in his 20s. What's there to talk about with a group of little brats? When it comes to dating, one can only hold hands and kiss, which can easily lead to anger and be harmful to one's health. At least high school is necessary, middle school is too exciting. Without further ado, after Wayne joined Emperor Guang, he was assigned to positions in the 3 armies. Wayne is very satisfied with this arrangement, and it's best to speak with strength on the field. Based on his resume, since he can be assigned to the 3rd Army today, the higher the possibility of being promoted to the 1st Army when he demonstrates his value. What he hates the most is the style of ranking based on seniority or exclusivity, without any ability to tolerate others. The style of Emperor Guangqiang's supremacy is very appealing to him. After playing warm-up exercises with members of the 3 armies, the next step is a competition. This was specially arranged by the assistant coach. They didn't arrange a detailed profile for Wayne, ready for him to use basketball to make a sound. Naturally, Wayne was assigned to the starting lineup of the 3rd Army, and his opponent was a member of the 2nd Army. At least he's also a genius. If he doesn't have a bit of intensity, he can be considered a damn genius. Wow, there are so many people. What's going on today? Have you been on holiday yet? Tao Jing rushed over after finishing his school duty in May, wanting to see Wayne's performance. Unexpectedly, as soon as I entered the door, I saw a bunch of girls gathered around the edge of the field, all cheering for Wayne. She even suspected that with just a little casualness, Wayne would be able to get off the hook after today. Wayne is also too popular, isn't he? Chapter 7. Data Basketball. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Don't be nervous, relax a bit. Just follow our usual tactics of running, shooting, and playing steadily like usual. The teaching assistant has a good heart and even cheered on the team members of the 3 armies before the game. Wayne felt that this guy had ill intentions. He only joined Emperor Guang on the first day and is not familiar with the people here. If he follows the usual tactics of the 3 armies to run and play, he may not even be able to touch the ball. After all, he never practiced with guys from the 3rd Army. Forget it, if even this good-looking guy wants to play tactics, I won't think about anything about the army anymore. Tie up the shoelaces, put on the blue training suit for the competition, and Wayne stepped onto the court of Emperor Guang with his long legs. The competition will start soon. Wayne found that his previously unbeatable height did not appear so outstanding in the Emperor's light. This is because Emperor Guang, the golden signboard of this wealthy family, attracts players who have a certain degree of ambition, or in other words, they have a certain level of confidence in their own talents. Without the need for visual inspection, Wayne flipped through his memory and concluded that there were 3 individuals in the 2nd Army who were over 180 centimeters tall. There are 3 positions: center forward, power forward, and small forward. And on the military side, Wayne's center is a second-year student who is only 178 centimeters tall. This sophomore seems to attach great importance to the competition, as if there is someone he likes among the girls attracted to Wayne today. I saw him slapping himself hard on the face, frantically boosting himself, and then going up to compete for the ball. Wayne wouldn't let this guy compete for the ball. He took the lead and walked to the center circle, pointing his finger and asking his own center not to cause trouble. Where are you going to stand? What? The people present saw Wayne's move and expressed that this transfer student was too pretentious and did not treat his seniors as people. Is it the girl with a height of 156 cm and long linen hair on the sidelines? If I lose the game, I'll help you arrange for her to come out. As soon as the senior who was about to go into theory heard this, he immediately took 3 steps back. Look at what you're saying, I'm your senior. If the younger generation wants to show off, can I still not give you a chance? It's a deal. I always feel like there's a prick coming from the basketball department. The assistant coach off the field didn't stop him, but he felt like Wayne was the kind of player who was more promiscuous. But the subsequent scene widened one's eyes. After the guest referee threw the ball into the air, Wayne's body quickly took off like a rocket as soon as he reached the highest point. This bounce, this speed, this explosive power. The teaching assistants were all surprised because Wayne easily won the ball right at a disadvantage of being 10 cm behind. This is of course. Although the opponent's center is 185 cm tall, he is indeed a floor player. In all aspects, his speed is not fast, but he excels in the positioning under the basket and superb back techniques. The attack of the three armies. Just as he got the ball right at the start, the players from the third team wanted to use good running tactics, but Wayne was not polite at all, reaching out for the ball as soon as he walked through the half-court. How can a newcomer quickly establish their position as the core of their team? Go score. Show your abilities. As long as you can prove that you can lead them to win, these muggles will consciously pass the ball to you. Which player from the three armies clearly didn't want to become Wayne's puppet, and then heard Wayne spit out two words, 3 years in Class B, quiet and dignified. I've made a deal with you, brother. Wayne got the ball as he wished, and the second team adopted a man-to-man defense. They said they were just fighting the third army, why bother so much? Second grade Class A, Matsuyama Xiao, 180 cm tall, weighs 60 kilograms, has serious disciplinary attributes, and has the advantage of diverse offensive methods. He is one of the most scoring players among the members of the Second Army. The disadvantage is defending against black holes and liking to use strong bodies to pressure opponents, creating pressure on them. Almost simultaneously, while Wayne was speaking, Takao Matsuyama took a step forward, wanting to give Wayne a body. Unexpectedly, Wayne also took a step back at this moment and rushed towards the right direction. Don't think about going over. Matsuyama Xiao whispered to herself, followed by a lateral movement, and her arm quickly leaned towards the basketball. But he immediately realized something was wrong. Wayne retreated again, and the basketball quickly hit the floor twice with his racket, completing a right-to-left turn in seconds. At the same time, he said in his mouth, also, after not achieving the expected results in physical confrontation, he likes gambling-style steals, especially when facing opponents who think he is weaker than himself. The chance of taking risks to steal is 100%. With a whoosh sound, Wayne passed the defender with just one change of direction, accelerated to the basket, and made a backhand layup to score. The Second Army was stunned, obviously not expecting Wayne to be so decisive and not be able to cooperate in defense in time. He looked a bit silly, like a big fool, unable to keep up with the rhythm. The first attack formed a score, and the happiest person was not Wayne, but the female student who came to the basketball department with him. Although the game had just begun, they seemed like Wayne had won the NBA championship, with Bella scoring high, afraid that Wayne wouldn't hear them. How impressive. Taojing Meimo opened her mouth in an O shape. Although Wayne's speed and explosiveness are not as good as his childhood sweetheart, his level of agility in attacking is the same. This is a breakthrough that claims to be like a surgical knife, seizing every loophole in the opponent's defense, cutting with one go, precise and deadly. Data won't deceive people. Wayne casually turned around, feeling that he could enter the army in less than a month. Matsumoto Takao is a bit confused. When he ran to the front court to settle down, he couldn't help but glance at Wayne more, curious about this first-grade student who didn't look very handsome but always gave people a kind of affinity. It was the first time he had faced off against a rookie from the Third Army, and he was so quiet that he didn't even know how he got past. He became interested in Wayne and took the initiative to reach out to his teammates for the ball. Unfortunately, the teammate did not see his hand and directed the ball into the penalty area. In this era of basketball, it's not like before the 1990s, when the emergence of Joe Gang changed the status of perimeter players. Nowadays, the priority of outside players is as high as that of inside players. But with such a big center forward in the Second Army, the advantage is so obvious. When will we not play more now? P.S. Fourth watch, thank you for Tsangyue's 100 VIP reward, thank you brothers for their flowers, evaluation tickets, and monthly tickets. Our normal situation is to update in the afternoon, and most of the time before being listed is 3 shifts to avoid being overwhelmed and having to work continuously on Friday and Saturday shifts for a whole week, which can harm our liver. Chapter 8. Laozi finds treasures. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. After receiving the ball, the center forward of the Second Army immediately demonstrated his superb back-hitting technique. He takes the lead in all aspects based on his tonnage and height, dribbling twice in a row, and every time he dribbles, he forcefully pushes the ball against his back. The center of the 3 armies was noticeably tickled by the impact and soon surrendered. Hey, look at my layup. Otherwise, what do you think it is? Does the guy with a flowing floor still want to fly to the sky and escape from the ground? The center forward of the Second Army pushed the defender away and immediately collected the ball. Chi Yun Dantian quickly took off and put the ball into the nearby basket. Unexpectedly, as soon as he jumped up, a dark shadow quickly shot into the penalty area, followed by a late starter who quickly reached out and slammed down its layup. The assistant coach on the sidelines' eyes suddenly lit up. This defense, Wayne fully demonstrated his bouncing skills and defensive reading ability. Although it still cannot reach the level of the first-grade soldiers in the First Army, it is almost overwhelming for the Second and Third Armies. But his surprise didn't stop there. Wayne landed and immediately started running towards the other half without stopping. Even at this foolish moment, a teammate knows to pass the ball to him, even if he can't find it on time, the pass is too big. I'll hit your lungs. Wayne cursed in his heart, but his expression remained calm like a handsome man, his eyes fixed on the basketball, and he chased after him. Finally caught up with the basketball when it bounced off the free throw line. This kind of running distance. You can give it a try. Wayne suddenly had a terrible idea. There was no intention of grabbing the ball immediately, and at that moment, everyone on the field was stunned. I saw Wayne jump along with the basketball at the moment it bounced, grabbing the ball in mid-air like a big pang spreading its wings, and finally smashing the ball into the basket. Boom! A muffled explosion echoed from the stadium. Then the ceiling seemed to be about to be overturned. Ah! The girls on the sidelines all screamed loudly, as if they were superb. In that scene, when Lu Chuanfeng was playing Xiangyang against the 2 defenders, he successfully grabbed the air lever and his life was as if he had gone crazy. It's just 2 third-grade students who are watching under the basket. Wayne charged too hard and couldn't hold back. He originally wanted to hang the basket after dunking to avoid flying out, but he couldn't stop the car at all. So after he finished dunking, his body also flew out. Sleeping trough, why does this person still play with a hitter? Those 2 third-graders only had time to make such a sound, and then they were hit by Wayne and thrown into the street. Wayne's stunning dunk caused the entire arena to boil. Being able to dunk such an empty dunk at the age of National Day 1 is somewhat insane. If you don't believe it, you can tell from the teaching assistant of Emperor Guang that he has a wild expression of, I have found the treasure. This breakthrough, this defense, this fast attack, this speed, this bounce. Genius, this is definitely a genius player. At this moment, the stadium is filled with incredible cries of surprise. Along with the players from the 3 armies, they were all inspired by Wayne's deduction, as if they had been beaten with chicken blood. On the other hand, on the side of the Second Army, it seemed that something had come to mind, causing a shiver all over. When they entered school this year, they were also abused by first-year students like this. They still remember exactly how to write that tragic character. Wayne didn't, although he was more excited than anyone else in his heart. He understood that the calmer his expression at this moment, the more majestic his figure became. So people saw this scene. He didn't care at all about what incredible thing he had just done, as if he had casually dunked it. After Wayne stood up, he immediately reached out his hand to pick up the 2 unlucky ones he had hit, and spoke in a caring tone, I'm sorry, are you okay? I didn't mean to go to the infirmary, did I? The two third-grade seniors, whose heads were originally smashed with stars, still wanted to curse. But seeing Wayne's sincere face, I actually feel that blaming the other person is too stingy. They hurriedly said, "It's okay, at least we are also members of the basketball department. How could we get injured so easily?" Another person even turned around and asked, "Are you okay, Wayne?" "Senior, we all have training on a regular basis. Our abdominal muscles start at 6 yuan and our whole body is covered in lumps. Did you feel uncomfortable just now?" Good guy. Wayne was surprised to find such a conscious meat mat in the world. "Are you still afraid of making people uncomfortable? Next time you stand under the basket, I will use you as a meat mat." The teaching assistant took everything into consideration and nodded secretly. "Shallow, it's me who is shallow. How could such a good child be a thorn in the head?" Favorite +1. Wayne's harmony is only left to the audience. After returning to the field, he turned into a nightmare for the Second Army. That click seemed to open up the ren-du-air pulse of the three army players, and they began to pass the ball to Wayne one after another. Damn the tactics. Surprisingly consistent with the ideas of a future champion coach. Just a few minutes into the game, Wayne's three armies launched a 16.2 attack on Gao Chao, blinding the opponents and forcing a pause to interrupt the attack. Wayne played a decisive role during this period. With him in scoring, grabbing rebounds, and fast attacking, he is like a tightly wound sports car, unable to stop wherever he can participate. Under his leadership, the three armies were constantly pounding their own half like gusts of wind and rain, beating the Second Army like a Fourth Army. 8 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block, and 1 steal. This is the data Wayne obtained in the opening wave, this all-around data, full of good taste. Many ninjas believe that Wayne will soon be like the first-grade monsters in the army, entering the list of Emperor Guang's national championship as a first-grade student. The fish pond of the Second and Third Armies is not enough for him to showcase his skills. What's wrong with you, Songs Han? How could he get 8 points in just a few minutes? I won't make it. Matsuyama Takao himself was also puzzled. He's not very strong in defense, but he's not that bad either. He always gets one step past Wayne. It felt like someone had seen through his underwear, and Wayne knew exactly what kind of action he would take every time. The only person present who is relatively clear is probably Tao Jing Meimo. She found that if she applied the collected data to this game. So Wayne's score just now fully met her expectations, and he also added 2 assists, 4 rebounds, 1 block, and 1 steal. Then, with the surprising hairstyle of Tao Jing Meimo, the data she collected and the things she analyzed were not as accurate as any player who had only transferred for a day. This is unreasonable. Chapter 9. Sam Gaud. You are listening at novelfull.audio. There is nothing unreasonable. Liu Yan-er is one of the 3 giants of King Li Haida, with a unique hand in data tennis. Give him time to collect enough data, and he can even fully predict the direction of the game before it starts. In cases where there is a significant level difference, data basketball has an overwhelming suppressive effect. Even when facing players who are half a gear higher than oneself, data can compensate for the level difference between attack and defense. The pause quickly came to an end, and as they returned to the game, the second team visibly strengthened their defense. When the 3 armies attack, they start to pay close attention to the ball handler, try to delay as much as possible, and drag the opponent into the positional battle. What should you do now? Wayne. Watching all members of the 3 armies being forced to fall into position and engage in hand-to-hand combat with their opponents, losing the opportunity to accelerate, the assistant on the sidelines looked forward to Wayne's choice next. But soon, he realized that the defensive feast he had carefully prepared for Wayne was unnecessary. Faced with Yukio Matsumoto's defense, Wayne simply guided him and swung him to the right, quickly killing him from the left. However, the Second Army was already prepared, and their defense against the ball handler was actually aimed at Wayne. The only one among the three armies who can defend the downstream dragon in the second army is Wayne. In Class D of Grade 3, Yamada Ruji is 183 centimeters tall and weighs 68 kilograms. He is in the second army of Emperor Guang and plays as a power forward. His offensive methods are single, and 80% of his scores are concentrated in the paint area. Upon seeing the person, Wayne's mind immediately flashed with a large amount of data. This is a player who, like Takahiro Matsumoto, is heavily biased towards offense and defense. He often cleans his butt with Matsumoto. The probability of frontal defense is 10%, and the probability of delaying attack and delaying teammate support is 90%. My breakthrough success rate is 70%, and direct shooting is not interfered by more than 50%. This kind of multiple-choice question is easy to do. All of this was discovered in an instant. When the opponent approached, Wayne accelerated for the second time and broke through the penalty area. Yamada Ryuko certainly wouldn't let him succeed so easily. His rich defensive experience allowed him to quickly move his body horizontally to block Wayne's first step. However, Wayne seemed to have anticipated it earlier, making a sharp turn during the breakthrough and circling to the other side of the defender. Can't you really defend yourself? This guy is on the same level as those monsters in first grade, but if you think this way we can defeat our second army, you're too naive, Wayne. Yamada Ryuko wasn't discouraged. He has seen his teammates' cooperation in defense, and he has delayed Wayne's work. Next, all you need to do is wait for your teammates to arrive, and you can sandwich Wayne in the middle like a biscuit. This time, even if you're really Batman, it's difficult for you to insert wings. Nanny. Yamada Ryuko suddenly let out a strange cry. His teammate did indeed provide support, and he successfully cooperated with them by placing Wayne in the middle. The problem is, Wayne's basketball is missing. When? How did he pass the ball out? Unexpected factors appeared, causing the people of the Second Army to freeze in place for a moment. It wasn't until the sound of the basketball board hitting the net that they remembered they could turn around and see which guard from the three teams had a successful layup. But the chance of a teammate scoring directly with a passing assist is 100%. Wayne casually looked at the two players in the second team who added himself in the middle. Our team's defender is a well-known bottom-line mouse in the third team. Can you even do this step by counting all your teammates? Cao Jingmei expressed that she has learned. She has always collected opponent data, analyzed it to identify their weaknesses and possible actions. The benefits of doing so are obvious, as it allows our team members to have the upper hand in a 1-on-point-1 situation. Wayne is different. He counts all the players on the field and chooses the one closest to 100% from countless chances. This feeling is like. The entire game was developed according to Wayne's script. The teaching assistant takes a deep breath. With the progress of the times, almost all sports cannot do without data. For example, the famous misplaced singles tactic of the NBA, also known as the order-to-order tactic, was not long after. At some point, team analysts in the league have discovered that misalignment singles formed through pick and roll and cover can greatly improve the efficiency of player scoring. Then, the poorly defended players in the league suddenly had nowhere to hide and were being ordered all day. Of course, the current strategy of misplaced singles has not yet emerged, and what basketball players usually analyze is the weak defensive links of their opponents. Make targeted attacking arrangements through the position where the opponent has lost the most points, or the penalty area, or the outside line. But this is big data, targeting the weaknesses of an entire team, and it is almost impossible to go into detail for every player. It's not that the coaching staff and analysts can't do it, but that the players can't. And Wayne, he has now shown that data basketball has more possibilities to affect every opponent. Perhaps his athletic talent is not as good as the first-grade players in the First Army, but his brain surpasses everyone, including Hongchuan Xiu, the strongest small forward in the country. Wayne made people realize for the first time the terrifying nature of data basketball. In the next round, Wayne will continue to hold the ball, which will strengthen the defense of the second team and increase the intensity of the confrontation. It's completely useless, as long as the opponent is unable to play at a level beyond Wayne's mental database. Even if there are occasional data biases, they still cannot break Wayne's data basketball in most aspects. I saw Wayne swing left and right, holding the ball in his right hand to break through to the left, deceiving the defender to move horizontally to the left. At that moment, his left hand immediately cut out and changed the trajectory of the basketball, while his body charged towards the right. Sam Gaud. This is a breakthrough technique created by a streetball player named Sam Gaud, and the moves are also named after him. If the defender is not on guard, it is easy to be swayed away. At first, Sam Gaud only appeared frequently in street basketball, rarely seen in NBA, World Championships, and Olympics. However, as the league's star guard Kyrie Irving and other defense players demonstrated on the NBA stage, countless fans were captivated by this handsome and cool breakthrough skills, and from then on, Sam Gaud's reputation grew. Matsumoto Takahiro, who was responsible for defending him, was shaken and fell to the ground. Wayne accelerated to the penalty area and added 2 more points to the layup. No, his level has completely surpassed that of members of the Third Army or even the Second Army. I need to tell Mr. Platinum. Seeing the second team being defeated by Wayne, the assistant coach did not hesitate and planned to report this matter to the team coach. Tao Jing, you can continue to stay here and observe. This is the video recorder. You can focus on Wayne next. Ah. Oh, no problem, leave it to me. Tao Jing Mayu saluted cutely, took the camera and directly aimed at Wayne's handsome face, slapping it fiercely, making her face turn red. How fat is it? Even though my facial features are not very handsome, why do I just think they look good? Chapter 10. Crazy Possession Rate. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The game continued, and in the following rounds, Wayne tasted the familiar sandwich treatment. When he received the ball and slammed into the basket, the second team directly sent out 2 taller players, Takao Matsumoto and Ryuko Yamada, who were over 1.8 meters tall, to sandwich left and right. Fans who come to watch the excitement in the future don't need to watch the previous game, which shows how wary the second team is of Wayne's attack. You should know that there are only 3 players in the Second Army's lineup who have reached an altitude of 1.8 meters. They immediately sent 2 people to sandwich Wayne, and the other defensive areas suddenly became as thin as Jasper Bond. Wayne is not strong either. Previously, he was frequently taken care of by his teammates and gained many ball rights, but he also knows more than just brushing his own data, regardless of his teammates. What he wants is not shooting power, but ball power. As long as most of the basketball is in his hands, he can give you the effect of throwing peach blossoms as a reward. If we don't give him the ball rights well, Wayne naturally doesn't care about the life or death of his teammates. In an instant, the 3 armies went from Wayne's single-court drive to multipoint flowering, and the Second Army suddenly felt their defense line was in jeopardy, ignoring one and losing the other, being beaten all over their heads. In the subsequent competition time, this has also been confirmed. Even if the Second Army drags the game into a positional battle, relying on their own height to achieve success, it limits the fast pace of the Third Army. No matter what they do, there is always one thing that cannot be changed. They just can't limit Wayne's scoring or assist teammates, and the difference in points is never forced close. At this moment, the members of the 3 armies are all possessed by war gods, daring to climb up and confront each other. At the end of the day, anyone can play the downwind game, even if it's 0-8, as long as there's a big brother in the team with a score of 20-0, he dares to show off his face. It is called a physical team, and I am responsible for winning this game. Wayne also gave a goat-like thumbs up to his teammates. The 4 rookies from the 3 armies were immediately excited, with a surge of enthusiasm, as if they had turned an ordinary team training match into a crucial battle for their careers. These naive fools thought that after winning this game, their chances of being promoted to second place would greatly increase. After all, Diguang is a basketball team where the strong are the top priority. Whether you are in first grade, second grade, or third grade, as long as your strength is strong enough, everyone can start. Little did they know that Wayne had already sentenced them to death in his heart. Training matches do not last for the entire 40 minutes of the game, and usually only play 1.5 court, which is 20 minutes of the ball. In the first 10 minutes, Wayne determined the absolute core position of the team with his stunning dunk, and in the last 10 minutes, his possession rate directly reached an ungrateful 60%. You should know that even the NBA's most impressive possession core LeBron had a peak career possession rate of only over 30%, while Wayne TMD doubled it. What does this ball control rate indicate? The entire army is under his control. Whether to win or not has nothing to do with the 4 useless soldiers in the army. The 4 rookies from the 3rd Army were still happily fantasizing about being promoted to the 2nd Army, but they didn't notice that the audience on the sidelines had long forgotten their existence, and everyone was staring at Wayne alone. The game is over, and the 3rd team's 55.32 blood ravaged the 2nd team for a total of 23 points. The strength of the 2nd Army was obviously stronger than that of the 3rd Army, but there was no way. Suddenly, a king appeared in the fish pond bureau, and the result was like this. The value of star players lies here. Even if your teammates around you are not very strong, you can use your own threat to score and threaten the enemy's defense, creating an easy scoring opportunity for your teammates. Unless all of your teammates are like this, then let's talk about it separately. Yes, Haizija also played back and was substituted. At this moment, this guy with a thin and transparent presence was looking at Wayne, surrounded by members of the 3rd Army, with a hopeful expression on his face. And Wayne, at this moment, was wearing a hypocritical smile on his face, building good relationships with every member of the department, causing those stinky women to scream incessantly. The people of the 2nd Army were also unable to see through his disguise, and after a commercial brawl with Wayne after the game, they became good brothers. Well, it's necessary to have a good relationship with the members of the basketball department. We must let these little trash learn how to wholeheartedly pass the ball to themselves. In terms of data, Wayne, under the constant care of his teammates, made a fairly explosive 21 shots, hit 17 goals, and received 5 free throw opportunities. He didn't have 3-pointers and scored 39 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks, and 3 steals. The 20-minute game data was 39 points, and this scoring ability stunned everyone on the field. Okay. So impressive. Tao Jing realized after May that he couldn't recall this data for a long time. How many points did you only get when you entered the team? 37 points, no assists yet. Xiao Taozi said she understood. Wayne Qingfeng Dahui. No, I have to tell Coach Platinum about this. At this thought, her pretty face turned red and she walked towards the direction of the 1st Army, holding onto the video recorder. Wayne didn't notice, but noticed that his hairstyle had become disheveled due to sweat. With his stubbornly erect hair, he immediately performed a hair gel hand for the audience. There it is, it's the hair glue hand. Cool. Wayne, I'm going to exchange my 2nd section jump script with you for this. Get lost. The training match has ended, and the activity time of the Diguang basketball department is also almost over. Wayne did not linger or choose to practice more. After declining invitations from many basketball team members, he embarked on his own path home. He doesn't need to work because his mother is a small boss, or rather a vendor. His mother's original name was Shannon Jiehua, but after marrying Wei Debao, she changed her surname to Cheng Wei, so she is now called Wei Jiehua. Wayne roasted the name more than once, and his mother, Wei Xiaobao, and his sister, Wei Chunhua, were just one word apart. Whenever Wayne thinks of Wei Chunhua and Duolong, a dog-like couple, pushing and arching while shouting, "We are innocent," Wayne always feels like he can't look directly at them. Wayne doesn't know much about his parents' past. I only know that my father met Wei Jiehua when he was an apprentice, and then the two of them hooked up. By the way, they learned the skills of ramen noodles. They had saved enough money to open a ramen noodle shop, but Wei Debao was too impulsive. He had a bad heart and went to learn from others to gamble. Their family is reduced to selling ramen noodles by pushing a cart every day.